Hello, hi guys. I'm Kiyoon. I'll be talking over FTX augments. I'll be going over generic like opinions of augments and like tier list of augments, I guess. And I'll be talking about like when to take certain augments or not, and like when it's good for. So before I go into the tier list of augments, I'll be talking about like augments in general. So almost always I'll take the generic flexible augments, which by generic flexible augments I mean that the augments that are not directly related to certain traits or units. And so these are basically anything that's related to econ, items, or like raw stats. These are almost always better over the niche ones just because they make you like you don't have to like force a comp because of your augments, and you'll almost always have a value from these augments no matter which comp you play or which units play. So I'll be going over the 5 categories of augments. I split them up between insane, great, niche, it's okay, and don't take most of the time. So for the first category of augments, I put insane. These are like S plus tier augments that are really strong compared to the other augments. And obviously these depends on when you get them. These are almost always better to get them early on as they're mostly related to your econ or your shops. So for the first one, I put the tier 2 rich gets richer in the insane category as you start the game with 10 gold, and having additional 10 gold in stage 1 is just super superior compared to the other tier 2 augments. It allows you to make your first threshold really fast, and you'll be miles ahead of everyone in terms of econ compared to all the other players. By that I mean like you'll be making your first threshold, which means that you can make your next econ threshold, and your econ just snowballs out of control, and you'll almost always be able to make stronger board in terms of level and units and upgrades compared to other players just because you have that much additional resources to play off of it. Having the 7 maximum interest increase to 7 is not as important as making your first threshold. So this one's super good to get in stage 1. Obviously this one's not so good in stage 3 and 4, but once you get this in stage 1, you'll be super ahead. That I put it in the insane category. For the Windfall, it's a prismatic augment. This same concept applies to Rich Gets Richer, except it's better as you start the game with 20 gold. This one's super OP, if not one of the best ones to take in stage 1. You start with 20 gold. You'll be making your first thresholds way earlier compared to other players. Same concept applies. You'll be super ahead and miles ahead of everyone else's econ that you'll just be able to play your strongest board in terms of either level or units. This one's not as good in stage 3 and 4. Maybe stage 3 you could consider it comparing it versus the other prismatic augments in stage 3, but this one's definitely one of the best one, if not the best one, to get in stage 1. The stage 3 Windfall is not good, obviously, as getting your econ up and rolling in stage 1 is way more important than getting like 25 or 30 gold in stage 4. For the next one, it's level up. When you buy EXP points, gain an additional 4. You can now reach level 10. This allows you to push level early on. Obviously, getting this earlier is better than later on, as you'll get value from the get-go from stage 1 or stage 2. Same concept applies. This allows you to have more units as you're pushing level, and if you're high rolling and you have all the units upgraded, you could also go for level 10, which will have better shops, and you could put in an additional unit. For high-end shopping, in this current set, there's like a lot of good units that are like 5 cost and 4 cost, and this allows you to get level 9 shop very consistently. It will allow you to play around 2-star 5 cost units, which can very easily be your win con. So this will allow you to see the higher level shops before everyone else and have better odds of hitting them. So you'll be more consistent at hitting the 2-star 5 cost and securing your win, which is why I put it in insane category. For the next category, these augments are very flexible for any setups. It's always good to take. For the first one, hyper roll. If you have less than 10 gold at the end of each round, you gain additional 2 gold. This one's really good as it allows you to play aggressive and play your strongest board at all times, as you're using your gold to either push level to play additional unit or to roll for it to have some upgrades. So it allows you to win streak or play your strongest board to save HP while still gaining like decent econ, the additional 2 gold from the augment. This one's really great. It's a good flexible one that could be used for any single combo you play. For the next one, binary airdrop. Your champion equipped with 2 items, temporarily gain a random completed item. This one's especially good if you have like a scrap innovator opener. Scrap innovator opener is like one of the strongest opener you could have early game. Alongside the binary airdrop, your scrap unit can get an additional item from the scrap synergy. You could also get another full item from a binary airdrop. So you'll be super ahead of like the board strength because due to the additional items you have from the augment. With the binary airdrop, you could put 2 items on almost like every single unit, and you could have like multiple carries or like multiple tanks, and you could play your strongest board, or you could have a stronger board with the additional help from the items. Item grab back, it's just like a generic flexible augment that you'll be playing with an item up. Just like a really solid item. You could also get a Reforger, which could be good late game, or if you get a bad like complete item, you could Reforge it. Phony frontline, additional frontline, it's just super flexible, and additional unit. Having additional unit super good, as you could position it in a way that it could be like a blitzcrank hook bait, or if your frontline is weak, this one's obviously super good as it's like an additional frontline you could get. For the next one, Pandora's item, get a random component. You get an additional half component. Basically, with this Pandora's item, you could get BIs like best in slot for all your carries and your tank items. You literally get every single item you want. You could also go for like high cost units from Carousel, as you could just, I guess, handpick your items from the Pandora's item. Later on, it's like if you get like items from Dragon, you could just reforge and get a different item. It's like anything related to the items that makes your board stronger. I think is always in the great category, since it's flexible for any setup, and it's always good to take to have additional items or like best in slot items, right? For the build different one, your units with no trade active gain 300 HP and 40. It's just raw stats. You play no synergy. You could ignore this trait. You could ignore this augment later on. It basically helps you win streak, stay healthy, stuff like that. So I put in flexible great augment. Knife's Edge, a lot of raw stats, a lot of variety for your units. You could kill a lot of units with additional stats. I think it's flexible. Especially this one's especially good if you're playing like Urgot or like a lot of like brawlers or like a lot of melee units. It's like one of those raw stats one that's flexible, I think, and that's good. Featherweight, this one's also a lot of stats early game. Your 1 and 2 cost champions have additional 40% attack speed and movement speed, or you could also do some crazy like reroll comps like reroll Vi Trundle, where they get additional attack speed plus movement speed. So stats are nice. You could just ignore this Featherweight one. You could just use this to win streak with it, and then you could just ignore this late game if you're level 8 or 9 and you're playing around 4 cost and 5 cost. Next one is Exile. You can't go wrong with additional shield or tankiness for your entire team. It's just like a really solid one that you could play for any comps you play. Cybernetics, same concept. Raw stats, raw ID. You split your items. Multiple units have high HP, high AD. Just a solid one that saves you a lot of HP and can help you win streak with playing your strongest board. Makeshift Armor. This one's I think this one's like underrated. I think this one's really solid. The additional armor and MR feels nice, especially if this one's like good if you have like one like tank, like one hyper tank where you stack it, and then you have one like hyper carry that you stack all of it, and then everything else is like no items, and you get a lot of value out of Makeshift. This can also work with like Scuttle Crab or like Innovator Crab, or like the dummies, the target dummies. Next one is Weak Spot. Your units attack ignore 25% of the target's armor and reduces healing received by 50%. The generic flexible augments that directly make your board stronger. I think it's always good, always great to take. Reducing the armor is not bad. Obviously, it's not that much useful if you're playing an AP comp, but I mean, you still get value out of it like early game, as all your units, most of the damage are auto attacks. And reducing healing received is also good, as you don't have to like mandatory build Morello or Sunfire, stuff like that. Other great tier 2 augments, there's Clear Mind. If you have no units on your bench at the end of the round, each round gain 4 XP points. This one's super good if you have like, you could play in a way that like you could like roll aggressively to hit your pairs, and then you keep your bench clear, and you just gain the additional 4 XP per turn. Or you could just full loose shake and spike at like 3-2, roll it down to 0. Or like roll it down until like you hit all your pairs and your board is strong, and you clear a bench to gain value out of the clear mind one. This one's very like you have to very like nicely play around it. It could be a lot of value if you play around it correctly. Next, I'll be talking about Roland Charm. This is one of those ones where your highest health unit makes a critical copy. I think this one got nerfed to like 1.2k. It's still good though. It's like a fawn, I guess, for early game. If you're like a guarantee, it makes a guarantee. You have additional 2-star unit. The copy also gets stats. You can never go wrong with the additional upgraded 2-star units. I guess it could be less value if you don't have the upgrades, but can never go wrong with an upgraded 2-star unit if you have additional upgraded 2-star unit, I should say. Next one is Trade Sector. Gain a free shop refresh each round. I consider this one, like, this one's also like, this one can also be insane, as this one's good for like reroll. It could also be good for like just regular. It doesn't really change your playstyle. Basically, it allows you to play your strongest board almost every single round. You'll be seeing additional shops compared to other players, meaning that you'll have more opportunity to upgrade your board. Sunfire board, I guess this one can be good. I guess it could be this one got nerfed a lot, but it's still really good as it applies on the backline unit as well. And in the current set, there's a lot of healing, a lot of like shield, or like a lot of like Janna, like Yumi, a lot of survivability in addition of healing. So you almost always need a healing debuff item. Basically, this helps you with that. Applies on the backline unit. It's like a really solid one that could be used by every single comp in the game, which is why I put it in the great category. Metabolic Acceleration, this one doesn't directly make your board stronger, but having the additional 2 HP that you get at the start of each round basically will almost always make a placement different throughout the game. So I put it in the great category that could be used by every single whatever you play in the game. Next is Salvage Bane. Get a random completed item. Setting a champion breaks apart their full item into components. Again, you get a full item. You're playing with an additional item, which makes your board stronger. And this one allows you for like a lot of like unique gameplay where like you can just slam every item you want to make your board stronger at that time, and then you sell it later on to break it apart and pivot to a different comp. Allows you to slam items, play your strongest board, and then you could transition to something else. Knife Edge, again, I put this in great because it's flexible. Your first 2 rows get a lot of AD, a lot of raw stats, a lot of AD. Really good for comps like Bruisers, Urgots, or Chemtech, all the melee units that you could put in the first 2 rows. For the Cybernetic one, again, raw stats could be used for almost every single comp. Really good for early game as you get a lot of raw stats, make your board darkly stronger, which is obviously flexible. You can play for any comp in the game. Exile, same thing as Exile 1. Shield is great for all comps, and it's flexible. You can put it on you can play for every single comp in the game. Featherweight 1 and 2, same concept as Featherweight 1. You can play around reroll, like reroll Trundle Vi for the additional attack speed, or you could just use it for additional stats early game. And then you could just ignore it for stage if you're playing around 4 cost and 5 cost. Built different. All your units with no trade gain a lot of raw stats in terms of HP and attack speed. You could do crazy like reroll comps, like you could do random like reroll comps that doesn't have trade like enabled, like random Warwick 3 with like Kog'Maw 3, no trade. And since this gives a lot of raw stats, I think it's really good. It's a lot of fun too. It's like a different way of playing TFT, I guess. Slant United, raw stats, I think it's great. Could be used for every single comp in the game. Titanic Force, this one, I think in terms of value, if you have a lot of upgrades, is really good as you get a lot of AD. Like, for example, I think on average you get like if a unit have like 1.7k HP, you get like 80, like 70 to 90 AD, which is insane value, and it's like really good because you get so much AD for your upgraded units. But I guess this could be a bad one if you're low rolling early game and you don't have any units that's above the 1.2k threshold. But one of those ones where when you do have the upgraded units, it's so much stats that I feel like it's in the great category. Makeshift Armor, same concept of Makeshift 1, just a lot of raw stats, armor and MR for your entire team with no items. Item Grab Bag, same concept, a lot of items, you're playing your strongest board. Same with TG, a lot of items, could play your stronger board. Nero Crit, I think this could, honestly, I think this might be in the insane category as well, just because like you can never go with an additional unit, but I feel like it doesn't really 100% guarantee you that like top 4, I guess, compared to the other S tier ones, as these ones are like super like, when you get them, you already know like you're gonna have an insane board and you're gonna be super ahead of the curve. Like this one doesn't like directly make you like super ahead. If you're like low rolling, you don't have a single upgrade and you can't really win with this, it's like whatever. But I mean, you can never go wrong with an additional unit, so I'll put it in the great flexible category. For the next one, golden ticket. This one can be good. I mean, it's like 40%, it's like RNG, but you can never go wrong with extra shops. Could be good. It's also really good for like reroll comps because you're pressing D a lot of times. You could do like any reroll comps, you could get 3-star very easily with this. Exile 3 is a lot of shield for your entire team. Can never go wrong with additional shield. Same with nice edge. Same concept with knife edge 2 and 1. Cybernetic, same thing. A lot of raw stats. Basically, all the raw stats one that makes your board stronger without the restriction of units or traits. I'll put it in the great category. Same concept for Stand United. Same concept for Makeshift. The high roller one I put here for the 3 loaded dice. The reason why this one here is this one can be very like it could be very insane. It could be in the insane category honestly, but it could also be not so good. If you get this in stage 1 and you're not playing a real you're not playing on a 1 cost or 2 cost real comp, and you can't really use high roll until like later on in the game, it's not that much value, and you're playing like an augment down for the whole game. But if you get this in like stage 4 or like when you're playing on like a 4 cost unit, this high roller one can very easily hit like a 3-star 4 cost unit with a high roller augment. So it's like a really strong one that could help you win or secure a first with a 3-star 4 cost unit, which is why I put it in this category. But there's like times where like you might be playing the augment down for like 2 stages straight, which is why I didn't put this in the insane category. For the next one, it's belt difference. Same concept applies. You could play some crazy real comps with no synergies for the extra raw stats. Raw stats one, same concept as all these. They're just flexible, great. For the third category, niche. This category is for the augments that are great with the correct setup, but can also be hard to take for most of the time. You just have to have like a setup for it where it might depend on the items you have or the units you have or the upgrades you have, stuff like that. So these can be very good or like super great depending on the setup, but it could also be hard to take most of the time. First one is calculated loss. After using your combat, gain 2 gold and a free refresh. I think this one is really tricky to take because I mean, it's like the additional 2 gold and a free shop refresh kind of works against the calculated loss or like of losing, because the additional gold and the free shop makes your board stronger, right? Because you're seeing more shops and more upgrades. So it's gonna be really hard to like have a good loss with the shop. But I guess I put this in the niche category because you could have a playstyle where you lose out in stage 2 and you have like a perfect you have a good loss going in stage 2 and you get the additional like 10 gold, and you might have some upgraded units on the bench, and you could potentially spike at like level 6, stage 3, and you just get like additional like 10 gold in stage 2 from the augment while getting a free shop whenever you lose throughout the game. It's not bad, but it's not like, it's kind of, I guess it's like a hard one where if you get a perfect loss, it's like super good, but it's like hard to play around. For the next one, dominance. After winning a player combat, gain 1 bonus for every 2 surviving units. This one's niche. I don't think I'll take this one most of the time unless I'm high rolling. If you're high rolling and you get the dominance, it's super OP. You have like a Warmog's Darius that never dies, and all your backline units stays alive. You just get infinite gold. It just basically snowballs out of control because you have so much gold, and every time you have more gold, you use that additional gold as resources to make your board stronger. So it just snowballs out of control. But if you're low rolling, you could almost never take this. It's really hard to take. It's really good if you're win streaking with this. But yeah, that's why I put this in the niche category. Underdog one, this one's really good if you're playing like a Mutant Cho'Gath Malzahar carry. If you're playing Colossus with this, your Colossus unit will take up 2 slots, which means that you almost always have fewer units in them. So your units all gain like 15% missing health each second, which is actually insane value. It's like one of the super OP ones if you're playing like Cho'Gath Mutant carry, but it's like most of the time you can't take this because it's so closely tied with Colossus or having fewer units. For the next one, Runic Shield, the stats is good, but it's again Arcanist. Only Arcanist unit. You're locked into Arcanist, which makes you not flexible, so it's a niche category. Cutthroat, again, stats good. Assassins get mana reave, but then again, you have to be forcing assassins, which is in the niche category, so I don't really enjoy taking this or this early game, as it forces you to play assassins or Arcanists, which I don't really like. You just want to play around like whatever you hit, right? And you want to play flexibly. Stand behind me. Sometimes the lobby is playing AP, or you don't get full value bodyguard, and you have to position like you have to position very fun, very weird, and you might grief your positioning with this. So I don't prefer taking this, but it's not a bad one. Just get additional armor for your rest of your team. In Garde, it's currently Yone is pretty strong in the current meta, so, and Kai'Sa is also really strong. So this one's not bad. The disarm CC is pretty nice. It's a situational one. If you're playing Challenger, it's great. If you're not playing Challenger, it's all useless. Same as Chemical Overlord. This got nerfed a lot, but it's still like decent damage. If you're playing Chemtech, it's pretty good. But it's also, you have to be playing Chemtech. Enchanter, usually the hearts are like very niche. I don't really like the hearts for se, because they lock you into a comp and you have to play that. And Enchanter and Enforcer is not as much value compared to the other synergies. And like you're almost always playing like 2 Enforcers. Like you could very easily take in 2 Enforcers anyway. So I mean, it's not bad, but like it's not like great. Self-refer one. This one's super niche. You have to be playing Innovator, but when you do play Innovator and you're playing Windshield with it, this one's super good. As long as one of your Innovators is alive, the Innovator unit repairs itself and goes back to life. It's like one of the strong ones if you have the board for it, but it's really hard to play as you have to have the Innovator set up for it. Pyro and Mercenary units have 50% chance of dropping 1 gold when they kill an enemy. Basically, all the augments that's related to mercenaries are really strong, as mercenaries right now, the payout is insane, especially Mercenary 5, it's insane. And this one also works on creep rounds. So if you have a mercenary opener, or like if you have a few mercenary units, and you only play your mercenary units on the PvE round, it works on like Krugs, it works on stage 1, it works on like the Raptor, stuff like that. So this one's, you get a lot of econ lead, which is good. But it's like also a niche one because you have to have the mercenaries unit. But this one, if you have like an if you have a mercenary opener and you get the pirate, it's almost an instant win, because you're so ahead of the curve because of the gold. Mutant Heart, same thing applies. Heart, it makes your heart augments, locks you into a comp. I don't really like them because they're not very flexible, but they could be very strong if you're already in that path. So yeah. Unstable Evolution, same thing applies. Really strong stats related one, but you have to be playing Mutant, and it's like RNG on the stats you get, and it depends on the mutant per game, as mutants are different every game. Scholar Heart, same thing applies. All these hearts are like good, really good if you're playing it, but not so good as it's not very flexible. One for All, I put this here because Syndicate can be very strong. This is a really strong one. It's got old Dark Star synergy, but again, you have to be playing Syndicate, locks into comp. Same concept as Twin Shot. Same thing as So Small. This makes Yordles super tanky with a dodge chance, but then again, you have to be playing Yordles. It's good if you're playing Yordles, but it's really bad to take if you don't have a Yordle opener. Wise Mending, gain 2 experience point when you refresh your shop. Really good for real comps. If you're replacing D a lot. If you're playing like around 2 cost, 3 cost units, it's good. For the Tome, I guess Tome is also risky. You can never go wrong with the additional Tome. I guess Tome can be I don't really like taking this personally because there's no guarantee you'll get a synergy that you want, but it's not bad. Like if you get like a mercenary from the Tome and yet you can put in 5 mercenary, it's super OP, obviously. March of Progress, I personally really do not like taking this, but I heard other players that it's also strong, so I'm not 100% sure on it. But basically it allows you to not use gold to level up. I think this one's really good if you're like rerolling like around 3 cost units, and this one's like really good to take if you get it in like stage 1 or even like 2, or like stage 1 augment or stage 3 augment. And if you get it in stage 3 augment, you could play around like rerolling for a 3 cost unit like Samira or like Cho'Gath, Malzahar, or like Shaco, even stuff like that. For the next one, Transition, it's really strong synergy if you're like a Yumi, or like if you're playing academic already, as Academic restores 80% maximum mana after casting their first ability. And if you don't know what Academic Synergy is, after your units cast, they give stats, AD, and AP to the rest of the Academic units. So it's like you get additional stats super fast, and they cast again, which is really strong synergy, but it locks you into playing Academic in the first place, so it's in the niche category. Same with anything related to Emblem, Runic Shield, same concept as Runic Shield 1. Spellblade, also strong 1, but it's also locked into Arcanist. Bodyguard, it's niche 1, again, same thing. Emblem. It's good if you're playing it already. It's good in some lobbies. If 80 heavy lobby, Bodyguard's insane, but obviously cannot be insane if you don't have Bodyguards or if it's an AP heavy lobby. Same thing for Challenger, Chemtech, Chemical Overload as well. Clockwork also. I guess it's easier to make 2 Clockwork. You could take in 2 Clockwork easily, but still. The Clockwork units, if you're playing like, I guess it could be good, but I'd rather take the raw stats one compared to the ones that's related to synergies. Same thing applies here. Oh, actually the higher gun one, the Mercenary Emblem, if you get in stage 1 or 3 and you're able to take in, you're able to take in 5 mercenaries, it's one of the, I was considering really heavily if I should put this in S tier class or S tier augment, as 5 mercenaries super OP in the current meta because the cash out is just insane for 5 mercenaries. But I put it here because you might not get the mercenary opener. But usually I'll almost always take this and roll 4 or 5 mercenaries as like 3-2 or like 3-5 even. And if you cash out a few times with 5 mercenaries, you just instantly win the game because you have so much resources from the mercenary payout. Same thing applies for emblems. I don't really like emblems. Junkyard, this one's good if you get this innovator scrap or the scrap in stage 1, but I don't personally like the junkyard getting it from stage 3 or 4, especially stage 4. You get zero value of junkyard from stage 4. I think stage 3 is still fine if you're playing scraps, but unless you get this in stage 1 and you have scraps already, I almost never take this. I don't think this is ever worth it. I think this one's actually really bad unless you get it in stage 1 and you have the scrap opener. Shady Business, I put Syndicate here because I think Syndicate's pretty strong synergy. I mean, it's not a pretty strong, it's like a strong synergy, but it's like hard to stabilize early game if you don't have Darius 2 or like TF2 or like both and good items. And Spike at 5 Syndicate and 7 Syndicate's really strong, but it's just really hard to get 5 Syndicate because it requires a Braum. But this helps you get 5 Syndicate early game. For the next one, Sharpshooter, Twin Shot, really strong DPS related augment. But again, it's in a niche category because you have to be playing around Twin Shot carry. It's really strong if you're playing Argot Jinx with this trait or augment. Portable Forge, I think this one's risky. It could be one of the strongest augment in the game if you get Collector in stage 1. Collector walks, if you don't know what Collector is, it's the item that executes and you get a gold. And it also works on creep round, so you get a gold for creep round kill as well. So it could, with the Collector early game, you could snowball auto control with the additional gold, but there's no guarantee you'll get Collector as there's multiple Ornn item choices you could get. It's like a little risky, but it's like a full item, so it's like full item you almost always want to take. It's like a full, unique, strong item that you get. So I'll put in the niche category. Featherweight 3, this one's also niche because with the Prismatic Featherweight 3, you almost always want to be playing on 1 cost and 2 cost reroll. A lot of additional movement speed and attack speed, really strong, but locks you into playing a reroll comp. For Academy, obviously locks you into playing Academy. Even though Academy is really strong in the current meta, if you don't have Academy opener, you have like a Chemtech opener, you could just never take this, right? Same thing applies for Runic Shield, strong one, but you can't be, you have to be playing some sort of Arcanist comp. And same thing applies all here. These can be all very strong if you're playing that comp, but yeah. I think the 5 Mercenary one is also can be S+ tier. Honestly, I think this is insane tier as well. 5 Mercenaries is very overpowered right now, and if you get a few cash out with 5 Mercenaries, you almost guarantee the top 2. So this might be an insane category and you just roll for it for 5 Mercenaries. But it's really hard to put all the soul or like emblem related or synergy related one in like the great category. I mean, these could all be great with the correct, like your board. Setting everything here. Socialite one depends on where the Socialite hex is. This one, Share the Spotlight, also depends on the social effects, so it's like a little gamble. Syndicate, you have to be playing Syndicate. Twin Shot, same thing applies as other souls. For the fourth one, it's okay, not great, but not bad. For the first one, I put Ascension. After 15 seconds of combat, your unit deals 75% more damage. Basically, it's like a stall one. If you have a lot of tank and a lot of tank items and tank units upgrade, but you don't have any DPS, this one's really good to take. If you're playing like Garen reroll or like Protector reroll, this one's really strong. It's okay. It's great, but it might not be. But sometimes you just get no value out of it because the fight ends too quick. Featherweight, you could play a reroll comp. You could also use the raw stats to play your strongest board and just pivot out of it. Play as if it doesn't exist. Stand United, just raw stats one. Can never go wrong with raw stats. Thrill of Hunt, HP, some sort of healing. You don't have to be healing on them. Healing item. It's not bad. It's not good, or it's not great, I should say. These ones, I didn't put these in the niche category because these ones are like academies like meta, and if you have like 6 academies, it's really strong. Same with Arcanist. Arcanist 2, Arcanist is very easy to tech in. It's like okay, it's not great, but it's also related to synergies. Celestial Blessing, the value out of this is like not very good. 10% of healing from damage dealt, I feel like is not that great, as most of the lobby has already healing debuff, and most of the unit or carries have healing, like Yone Fiora has built-in healing, Urgot has Chemtech, so it's not that mandatory. Same thing applies here. Hearts, basically these ones are like really strong if you're already playing it. Like the Innovator one, if you get it early game, early mid game, it makes your board really strong with the Innovator Heart, but like it might be completely useless if you don't have that opener for it. Same thing for Celestial Blessing 2 and 1. Thrill of Hunt, same thing. Most of the units already have healing. Same thing for Celestial Blessing. Thrill of Hunt, same thing. Most units already have healing built in, like the synergies from healing. Like Syndicate already has healing. Omnivamp, Chemtech, Yone Fiora, they all have healing already. And for the last category, this category, I will not take these 95% of the time, or even more, like 99% of the time I wouldn't take these. These are either just bad, like bad as in like not enough stats, or it's like way too of a niche situation where you almost can never take it. But what I mean by niche situation, I mean like it literally requires a perfect setup to play this augment, or it's just like the risk does not, like the reward's not that great for the risk you have to take. So I don't recommend taking these augments. For the first one, it's first aid kit. All healing and shielding on your units is increased by 35%. If you get in stage 1, the healing and shielding in early game doesn't exist that much, and this one's like only valuable late game if you have like Oriana 2, Janna 2, stuff like that. It's not that good. Even the number is not that good, and most of the I don't think it's a good augment. Same with Assassin Heart. Assassin's not that strong. Even if you play Syndicate carry, Akali carry, you don't even play 6 Assassins. You just play like 7 Syndicate with like value, like Yumi, stuff like that. I don't think it's a good Assassin one. Same with Bodyguard, might be useless in most lobbies. And hearts are like way worse than the emblems itself, because you can't even make the unit Assassin, or like you can't even make the unit Bodyguard. So hearts are like really like meh. I think Imperial is also one of the super niche ones where you have to be playing like Samira carry or like Scion carry. Almost you could never take this. Like these ones you could almost never take. The Imperial, I guess Bodyguard you could take it, but it's like low value, or lower value I should say. Imperial is super niche. You have to be already playing like Scion carry or Samira carry to have value out of this, and even then it's not that good. Same with Tyrant related to Imperial. I don't think Imperial is that good of a synergy, and it's very niche comp that needs like good build up, or like you have to be in the right spot to play this, like perfect setup for it. So I don't think it's good. Same with Protector. It's like only good if you're playing like Protector Garen reroll with like Protector Katarina, stuff like that. So it's like whatever. Scrap. Scrap's good early game, but all the scrap units are just overall good. So having the additional scrap's like whatever, because you could have very easily taken 2 or 4 scrap regardless of the heart or not. Do it. Summon one additional socialized spotlight. Very risky. You don't know where the second socialized spotlight will spawn in. Better just to take other ones where you're guaranteed, you know what you're getting, instead of the risk one. where it might be in a spot where you can't get value out of it. Sniper's Nest, you have to be playing Sniper. It's like a lot, it's insane DPS increase, but then again, you have to be playing on snipers. If you're already playing snipers, it's a really good one to get if you want a DPS increase and you're lacking DPS. Same with Sniper Heart, you have to be playing around snipers. Hidden Blade, get an Assassin Emblem. This one's not bad, but again, niche comp. Assassins are not that much in meta, even though like Shaco, you could see some Shaco and Akali carry being used, but they're more so that they're more so closer to Syndicate than Assassins. Smoke Bomb, also one of the really strong augments for augment for Assassins, but then it forces you to play on Assassins, and I guess it's really good if you're playing like Shaco / Akali carry, but it fixes you into playing Assassins in the first place, and if you don't hit like Akali or like Shaco 3, it's really bad because you're forced into playing a comp that's very niche, and it also requires like 3-star like Shaco or like 2-star Akali for you to like top 4 or like win the game. Armor plating, very niche. Colossus becomes Imperial. I think this one's really it's like one of the strongest one if you're playing Scion carry, or not one of the strongest, sorry. It's one of the strongest augment for Scion carry, but then it fixes you into playing Scion or like Cho'Gath carry, and you have to have the opener for it and the item for it, so which is why I don't think it's good. You almost never take it. Same with Shrug It Off. You have to have the Bruiser set up, and like I guess it's fine. It could be fine if you're playing like Bruiser reroll. Like the carry itself is usually not the Bruiser, which is why it's not that much value. Because most of the Bruisers are just tank, unless you're playing like Vi Trundle reroll, which I guess I can see it could be played, but it's like a niche, super niche one. I think it's a little too niche, I guess. Ardent Sensor. If you get this early game, you almost get 0 value out of it because you're not running enchanters until like late game or mid to late game. So I don't think it's that good. And it also requires like your enchanters might not cast. Like you have to have like Janna 2, like Orianna 2 to get value out of this. Sometimes they don't cast, stuff like that. But the additional attack speed is not bad. Like I wouldn't say it's like, but compared to the other tier 2 option can be a lot better. I guess this one's fine to take as like the third augment if you already have like the Orianna 2, Janna 2, all the enchanter upgrades. Deadeye, Sniper, you're fixing to playing snipers. Imperial, you're fixing to play Imperial, and I don't think Imperial is that good of a synergy. All for One, also related to Imperial. Tyrant fixes you into playing a comp that's also very niche, that requires certain items, units, stuff like that. Gold Reserve, you have to play Mercenaries. This one's a really fun one, but it's really risky because you have to be stats increase based on the amount of gold you have, and you have to have around you have to be stockpiling on gold to get the additional stats. So it's a really risky one that you almost never take, and it only works on the mercenary units. I guess it could be fine for MF or GPE, but I wouldn't personally take this. It's a little risky. Metal detector, scraps, like fine. Same thing applies with the other scrap. Heart. Payday, this one's also requires like the perfect setup where you have like the upgraded syndicate. It could be one of the stronger one if you have the upgraded syndicate, and you could snowball out of control with the additional econ you get from the additional surviving syndicate units. But it's like a really niche situation where you get like once in like every like 100 games where you have the Payday and the upgraded syndicate, and you also have the items to win ship with. Lifelong Learning, Scholar one gets additional AP. It's not that good. I guess you could do like Lysandra reroll and you go for this, but I don't think I've seen anyone take this one. I don't think it's that good. And these one obviously just locks into playing a comp that's not that very good. Assassin's like meh, Bodyguard's very meh. Broken Stopwatch allows you to fix into playing like Jhin or Orianna carry. I don't think it's that good, especially for a tier 3. Same with Enchanters, Enchanter Souls. You have to be playing Enchanters to get value out of this. It's also useless for stage 1 and 3. It's good for like stage 4 or 5, but even then, other tier 3 can be a lot better. Same thing for Enforcers. Sometimes you get value out of Enforcers, sometimes you don't. Imperial, I don't think any augments related to Imperial is good because Imperials are niche comp, and even then, I don't think the Imperial synergy is that good compared to the other synergies. Same thing applies for all these not very flexible augments. Basically, these are like not very flexible, and you have to have the perfect like build up for it. Like Protector, you have to have like Protector reroll set up for it, and you just play that. And even then, the other tier 3 augments can do better than the one that makes you locked into a comp. So I think I went over all like 140 plus augments. I think this is gonna be a long video, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll share the link to this notes, or I guess in the video description, so you get to see. And I'll have this notes updated like every few days, so you guys can look at it and learn from it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for the rest of the video. I'll see you guys next time.